Welcome back, True Seeker. I know earlier this year when Conor McGregor was arrested in the news before UFC 223, a lot of people in this world who have a lot of disdain for me definitely thought of me in light of that news cycle. For years, I had taught about the significance of Conor McGregor and the number 223, and then lo and behold, he gets all this negative press just before UFC 223. If you weren't aware, Conor McGregor, Big Star UFC, was arrested April 5th, 2018, 2 days before UFC 223, and that was the story that overshadowed the event. Now, just yesterday, July 26th, 2018, Conor McGregor had his felony charges dropped from the April 5th arrest by New York City. And this came on New York's birthday, July 26th. So what a birthday gift for Conor McGregor, who had his birthday earlier this same month. I'm going to show you how all of this is contrived propaganda. It's all marketing. Like they say, all press is good press. The Conor McGregor arrest brought more attention to UFC 223, probably even more pay-per-view buys. There's no such thing as bad press when your name gets out there. It's just like when the media trashes me, I love it because my views go up. You know, every time one of these publications links my YouTube channel or my blog, I get more views than I get any other day. So, I'm all for the media trashing me. It brings attention to this work, and anyone with a brain can see that this work is the truth. So let me remind you, Brooklyn, New York is where UFC 223 was. Conor McGregor arrested in New York just before the big event. There's not a more fitting location for UFC 223 than Brooklyn, New York. Notice with the alphabetic order, B's 2, R's 18, O's 15, O's 15, K's 11, just using the alphabetic order, Brooklyn, New York, 223. In the Frank Baconis cipher, which takes into account uppercase and lowercase letters, Brooklyn is also 223. And in Jewish gematria, which is a tribute to the way the English letters used to be organized in the Latin alphabet, Conor equals 223, which I'm about Conor McGregor, Masonic 223. Years ago, 4 years ago, I predicted that we'll see Conor McGregor become 22-3 in his UFC record, and he was several fights away from it back then. Right now, he's 21-3. If he wins his next fight, he'll be 22-3 like 223. The same day as this Conor McGregor news of him getting his charges dropped in New York City, there was another big New York story. A victim identified from the World Trade Center disaster of September 11, 2001. All these years later, finally identified. His name was Scott Michael Johnson, which equals 223. And remember, this is a biblical number. This code of letters and numbers is biblical. It's important to Freemasons, and it's important to Jewish Kabbalists. And with regards to Judaism, there is no more Jewish neighborhood in the United States of America than Brooklyn. It is the most Jewish concentrated neighborhood there is. Guarantee you there's all sorts of Jewish Kabbalists in close proximity when you're in Brooklyn. This code, important to Judaism and Freemasonry, comes from Kabbalah, which has the core belief that God created the world by merging the letter with the number. This code's biblical. The final book of the Bible says the false Jews will rule in the end times, and their name is the Synagogue of Satan, which also with the alphabetic order sums to 223. And in the Bible, the Jews have dark skin and hair of wool. How many Jewish people do you know that fit that description? Probably zero. Keep in mind, 223 is the 48th prime. The Jewish nation of Israel was established in 48, May 14th, 48, 223, the 48th prime. The synagogue of Satan, the false Jews. Realize those same people in Israel are the same people who control your media, your government, your banks, and the UFC. Ari Emanuel, the brother of Rahm Emanuel, two Zionist Jews. Ari Emanuel, the man who now owns the UFC. So, no doubt he's a Jewish Kabbalist. Even before him, it was the same people running the show for UFC. It always has been from the beginning. See my work on UFC 1. UFC's always been run by the numbers, just like the entire world of sports. So UFC 223, great date for the fight, for it being number 223. Again, Masonic is 223. Look at this. The Freemason logo, the capital G with the compass above it, the compass is set at 47 degrees. This is the Masonic logo. So you have UFC 223 on April 7th, 4/7, like 47. Israel was established as a nation in 48. It was recognized as a nation in 47. The word foundation equals 47. The word time equals 47. The 47 degrees on the compass is a tribute to the 47th problem of Euclid about how to establish foundation. Think about the U.S.'s birthday, July 4th, written 4/7 or 7/4. Holiday equals 74. Independence Day 74. Masonic 74. You can also write April 7th. Did I just say the U.S.'s birthday is April 7th? If I did, I meant to say July 4th. Both July 4th and April 7th are the two dates that you can write 4/7 or 7/4. Anyway, Masonic 74, Jewish 74, UFC 223 in the most Jewish neighborhood, you know. And with regards to the false Jews being called the synagogue of Satan, you know, consider all of the terrible programming that they give us through Hollywood, you know, through music. A lot of this stuff is very negative, and it spreads negative values, especially to young, impressionable people. And with regards to negative programming, look at Conor McGregor. I mean, he's just such a punk. And he has so many fans, which is just a sign of this world. It's because we're living in the world. It's just like it says in the end of the Bible, you know. The Bible, it doesn't matter if you're a Christian or if you believe in it or not, that text is the playbook for the people who run this world. The Code of Kabbalah comes from it. You learn this code and you learn what's in the Bible and you see what's going on in this world, it's not hard to connect the dots. You know, the synagogue of Satan will rule in the end times. That's the prophecy from the end of the Bible. And, you know, Conor McGregor, someone in their employment, Conor McGregor, you know, teaching all these people how to be punks. And they think it's cool. I mean, they think this is the way to be. This guy has so many fans. People love this guy. And he just couldn't be any worse. I mean, the way he talks over people, no class. And if these sports leagues weren't rigged, he'd probably get his ass beat. We'll talk about his Jose Aldo fight in 13 seconds at the end. That was one of my favorites. All rigged. Notice his birthday, July 14th. I forgot to put this up here for a little bit more Freemasonry and coding. 14/7, the way that date's written, like 147. Freemason 147. Conspiracy 147. If you write out 47th, 147. Again, Jacob, who becomes Israel, dies at age 147 in Genesis 47, where this code comes from. So, remember that Conor McGregor just turned 30 this month as well. We're going to get to that at the end. This news, July 13th, it came on the day, leaving 158 days left in the year. Freemasonry 158, for just one more Freemason tribute. But check this out right here. From the April 5th arrest, he was arrested April 5th, to getting cleared or having the felony charges dropped, was 112 days later. From April 5th to July 26th is 112 days later. This story centered on Brooklyn. Brooklyn with just the alphabetic order is 112. You add in the New York part, it becomes 223. The Freemason logo, it has instruments of geometry, mathematics around it. This entire code's all about mathematics. The mathematics of the Bible. The ancient spiritual belief is that God is the master mathematician. But anyway, mathematics, also 112. 1 + 1 = 2, right? So it was 112 days after the arrest. If you count the date of the arrest and up to July 26th, it's a span of 113 days. 113. And big number with the Scottish Rite of Freemasonry, which is the most Jewish branch of Freemasonry, which is the branch of Freemasonry that has its headquarters in Washington, D.C., in which the majority of the founders were a part of, including George Washington. But Scottish 113. 113 is the 30th prime number. Conor McGregor's 30. And look at his full name. Conor Anthony McGregor. In the reduction cipher, that's using the alphabetic order plus the rules of numerology. So the way that works is C's the third letter, so C's 3. O's the 15th letter, but notice O's worth 6. That's because the numerology of 15 is 1 plus 5 is 6. N's the 14th letter, notice N is 5. That's because the numerology of 14 is 1 plus 4 is 5. So anyway, span of 113 days, Conor Anthony McGregor, 113, the 30th prime. He just turned 30 years old. And it reminds me of my favorite rigged Conor McGregor fight. Round 1, the 13th second, he knocked out Jose. And completely scripted. UFC's brutal. The athleticism's real. The main events, they're fixed. Just like it's always been in fighting. And most of my haters, they hate me because they say, how can you fix UFC? It's just like, well, I don't know if you guys have been fighting and hitting your head too many times in your lifetime, but fighting's been known to be fixed since the 1800s. And what year are we in now? 2000 what? 18? So, I mean, if you're the person out there going, how can you fix a fight? It's like, have you guys ever done any research on anything in your life? You ever picked up a book? Have you ever even just watched ESPN? They even just talk about it openly in the media. Anyway, coming back to how the fight was on April 7th, the day Conor McGregor was arrested, April 5th, 2018, 4/5/2018, 4 plus 5 plus 20 plus 18 equals 47. So a good day to get arrested before UFC 223 on 4/7. And again, 47 degrees on the Freemason compass. And those are instruments of geometry around the big G. Gematria, this practice coding numbers into words, means geometry in language. So anyway, geometry sums to 45. Think about his April 5th arrest, 4/5, like 45. Him getting his charges dropped came July 26th, which was 12 days after his birthday. But if you count the day of his birthday, it was his 13th day of being 30 years old. And when you write out 13, it sums to 45 in the reduction method. And when you flip the alphabetic order around, making Z1 and counting up to A is 26, with that numerology, 45 both ways, 2 of the 4 base ciphers. So he gets his charges dropped on his 13th day of his age, where the charges came from 4/5 like 45. Could it be any more mathematically lined up? Again, it's all about time. The word time equals 47. The tropics that measure the solstices are 47 degrees apart on this earth. 23.5 north, 23.5 south. Tropic of Cancer and Capricorn. And with regards to 13 in time, 13 cycles of the moon, and the sun and the 12 constellations. These are the things that have been used throughout history to measure time. The moon, the sun, the constellations. 13. And show you something else. When you write out Scottish Rite, has gematria 57. 57. When you write out moon, it has gematria 57. The Scottish Rite of Freemasonry, the most Jewish branch, the Jews throughout history have used the moon to symbolize their existence because the moon nearly gets wiped from the night sky in its phases, only to return full again. This is important to Judaism. Jews equals 57. And, go back and look at history. The majority of the early presidents were inaugurated at age 57. They were all Scottish Rite Freemasons, the first of which was George 57 Washington. So, just giving you a little additional knowledge here. Conor McGregor currently 21-3. He wins one more time, he'll be 22-3. That would be 2 perfect. I had to laugh at his 74-inch reach as well. Again, Masonic 74223, UFC 223 on April 7th, which can be written 7/4. If you read the comments to my videos, this guy always does great work. He did some work on the upcoming fight. I'll probably do some work on the upcoming fight before it happens too. Did he put the date here? I'll do some homework. I don't know when Conor McGregor's next fight is right now. I just wanted to cover why this news came the day it did, New York's birthday, plus how it lines up with the arrest and his birthday. Again, you learn this code, you can prove that everything done in the world of sports, news, media, government, it's all executed this way by the same redundant patterns all across the board. If you missed my video on the Facebook news of July 26th, the record $119 billion collapse in a day, and the 9/11 video about Scott Michael Johnson, be sure to subscribe to my other channel, Gematria Effect News. This is Gematria Effect Sports. You want to be hooked up with both of these channels. You want to see the videos I put out. If you're a doubter of this knowledge, you won't be a doubter for much longer. That's a guarantee. And in case you are new here, that means you didn't know about my popular channel, which was wiped out last summer by Google, June of 2017. Had so many correct predictions, from the world of sports, to Conor McGregor fights, to what would happen in the news. By learning this code, you can get ahead of the news cycle. You can get ahead of the rigged sports. That's the beauty of knowing this knowledge. All right, until next time. Actually, I got to do this in every video that I remember. If you want to know more about how all of this stuff is scripted undeniably and really learn the code, I've priced my book that took me 5 years to write at just $5. And a lot of people are saying, Zach, raise the price on the book, more people will buy it. And that might be true, because maybe people are thinking because it's only $5, it must not have much. You guys, you're not going to find a better book ever written. I priced it at $5 so no one has an excuse not to buy it. And I thought, the word would get out there and this thing would sell like hotcakes. It hasn't done that yet. It needs to, not because I'm money hungry, but because I want to be able to do this work and pay the bills and not gouge people for it. People are saying, Zach, got to get the door. Until next time.